wait for some people to arrive. And if you tell us if you're having any sound problems or if you can't hear us properly, we've plugged in a little mic, so hopefully the sound will be good. I'll record podcast on my phone and this live broadcast on Ramak's phone. So So here we are waiting for people to arrive.
Yeah, and please don't call me because I'm using my phone.
Yeah. So I think we're 8 o'clock now.
Yes.
We haven't checked on the phone like whether chats will appear or anything like that.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Invite you.
Okay, I think we've got. One
viewer.
We're both just like.
Okay, it's one person, just like 2 person.
Oh, it's 8 o'clock.
Guys.
People are coming in. All right, 2 people. We can count them. I'm not sure. We'll probably see little chats. Somebody, one of those 3 people that's already live, you can send us a little message. Just say hi, and we'll see if it appears on our screen. What?
Nothing. It's just cute.
Yeah. So I think we're 8:01 now. Well, we won't sort of start properly for a couple of minutes. So make sure you grab a wine, grab some little snacks, and just get ready for the poetry. Okay. So yeah, and we've hopefully improved the technical side of this a little bit since last week. I did it on my laptop last week. I don't think it was a very good camera. This should be a little bit better. So yeah.
So maybe, it's just 5 people online. So I'm going to just a little bit say what we're going to do tonight.
All right.
So hello.
Should we start officially?
No,
this isn't the official start.
Yeah,
Okay, you talk.
No. Yeah, I'm just going to say hello, people.
Or even in Farsi as well. So.
Yeah, I will do that. And it's so exciting having you again, and we are here. So is it the second week in lockdown and in Melbourne?
Yeah.
And we are so excited to see you again. And what's happening tonight? Of course, another poem of Cameron Semmens, and which I translated. And we're going to share that with you. And another long poem from Iran by Farouzad. So I read it in Farsi, and Cameron going to read it in English. And I'm going to just say a little bit in Farsi.
Yeah.
سلام به همه. اگه کسایی که من از ایران میبینین، اگه مامان بابا آن هستین یا دایی ها، همه پسر دایی ها، دختر دایی ها، اینا همه مرسی که اومدین. امشب کاری که میخوایم بکنیم اینه که کامرون همونطور که میدونین شاعره، من شعر دوستم و کامرون میخواد یه شعری به انگلیسی بخونه و من ترجمه اون شعری که مال کامرونه رو انجام دادم و با هم به اشتراک میذارم براتون و بعدم یکی از شعرهای فروغ رو با هم میخونیم. من فارسی طبیعتاً، کامرون ترجمه انگلیسی و امیدوارم حال کنین، لذت ببرین. میخوایم همه چی در مورد این که دور هم باشیم بهمون خوش بگذره.
What she said. Yeah. So
he said his poem's not really good.
Oh God.
So
but here we are anyway. Yeah. Okay, pass me my wine, and then why don't we? I think people have had enough time. I think we should just start off.
We should just start
I'll do
with 7 people.
And I'll do like we are the Persian and the poet, and then you can just say that in Farsi as well. Okay. All right. So here we are about to officially begin. This is the Persian and the poet. Cheers. Salamati.
Salamati.
Yeah. So here we are. We're going to share poetry tonight. An original of mine that Ramak has translated. And then we've got an absolutely exquisite poem by Forough. I can never remember her surname.
Farouzad.
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 Okay.
Fair enough.
I can't say it.
Farouzad.
So welcome here to the live event, but this will also be a podcast. So do you want to do the official welcoming in Farsi?
آره، خوش اومدین به The Persian and the Poet. و ما اینجا هستیم دوباره، خوشحالیم که شما رو میبینیم و خیلی هم میخواییم خودمونی باشیم و با هم شعر به اشتراک بذاریم و اینو میتونین در قالب یه پادکست هم ببینین. ما همیشه با یه کیفیت خوبی هم ضبط میکنیم که بتونه بشه پادکست و اگه از دست دادین بتونین گوش کنین و لذت ببرین. امیدوارم کیف کنین امشب.
Okay, yes. And so I understand the word for poet in Farsi is shair. Is that right?
شاعر.
Shair.
Yep.
And a poem is sher? Sher?
Yes.
Sher. And I like that a poem is share. Like that it's like it's something, you know, in English, of course, to share. It's something to give. And for me, I just found that a beautiful little resonance. That the poem, you know, the word for poem in Farsi is share. And it's like, yeah, that's all I want to do with poetry, share. So that was a little resonance I noticed. So it's beautiful.
Yep.
So,
there we go.
Should we just get into the first poem? Should we do it?
Let's do it.
All right. Okay. Put my wine here.
Yep.
So this is a poem that I wrote in December last year, and it's called What Happened in the Forest. I'll put this a little bit that way. What happened in the forest? What happened in Sherbrooke Forest between you and me? What happened? We became the forest. You, a wet gully. I, the mountain ash. You, the flower. I, the stem. You, the frond of fern opening in spring. I, the stepping stone, newly thrown into the centre of that creek, that bone-cold creek blocking your way. Your only way to a lushness only ever dreamed of. Put your weight on me. Feel my solidity. Let your dreams become reality. I, the towering eucalypt, you, the climbing vine, coiling, curling, reaching for the light.
عالی.
Thank you.
خب من ترجمه I do the translation in Farsi guys and I hope you enjoy it. ترجمه شعر کامرون یه مقداری برام سخت بود به خاطر اینکه مفاهیمی داشت که تو فارسی از نظر احساسی بیان کردنش سخت بود برای من حداقل. اگه میخونین و شعرم دیدین یعنی شنیدین شعر اصلی رو، اگه کامنتی داشتین بذارین با اشتراک بذارین با ما. قبلش هم بگم که چند تا نکته است اگه کسی که از ایران شاید ببینن الان یا بعدن. جنگل شربروک جنگل معروفیه که پر از درختای اوکالیپتوس و گامتری و درختای بومی استرالیایی هست که تو یه قسمتی هست به نام ماندندنان اونجا هستش. و خاکستر کوهی هم اسمشو من مانتین اشو ترجمه کردم خاکستر کوهی. در جنگل بر من و تو چه گذشت؟ در جنگل شربروک چه بر من و تو گذشت؟ ما خود جنگل شدیم. تو دره باران خورده، من خاکستر کوهی. تو گل، من ساقه. تو برگ نورس سرخس در بهار، من تخت سنگی رها شده در میان رود یخزده. همان رودخانه‌ای که راه رفتنت را، تنها راه رفتنت را به سوی سرسبزی افقهای مرطوب سد کرده. افقهای سبز متوهم. بدنت را در آغوشم رها کن. استواری اندامم را احساس کن. بگذار خوابهای شبانت در روشنایی روز زندگی کنند. من قلعه بلند اوکالیپتوس، تو همچون تاک رونده‌ای که پیچ و تاب می‌خورد، می‌خزد برای رسیدن به نور.
Thank you. It sounds so beautiful.
Thank you.
So, can I ask just a couple of questions about that? Is that okay about your translation of that
For
poem?
sure, yeah.
Because I know that you found that really hard to translate. So why was that one particularly hard to translate?
So this is, I'm not a professional one,
Yeah.
obviously, but
Yeah.
for me, like, I couldn't maybe find the right words to express the meaning, and I think that was the biggest challenge for me. And I think,
Yeah.
when you translate, it's so important to be faithful to the author intent.
Yeah, faithful to the author's intent.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Me, the author, what I was really trying to get at.
Yeah, so for me, when I'm translating, I try to just don't do it word to word. Just try to translate it with my feelings. I understand the poem first, and
Yeah.
then emotionally translate it. I don't know if it is a writing, but this particular poem, it was hard because for some parts I couldn't find the perfect translation.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
and it was just a challenge, and
Yeah.
maybe it's not one of my best, but yeah, it's just, I leave it with you, like
Well,
the Iranian audience.
Can I just
Yeah.
say, so, because what I did is, of course, I can't read the Farsi version, but I put it into Google Translate, and then I can sort of see what the translation has come out like. I can see where you've had to change a little bit,
Oh, and you have it.
Yeah, that's right. So this is the Google Translate
Yeah,
version,
that's
which I'm
right.
sure probably is terrible, but like even just that first line, this says what vetoed me in Sherbrooke Forest. Does that make sense? Do you know what veto?
No, I translated maybe. در جنگل شروع.
Yeah.
Not really. Like I don't trust Google Translate.
That's
anyway.
right. So maybe this is a lesson
it's
in
just
not
like,
trusting
so,
Google
especially
Translate.
in
Yeah.
poetry, and if
Yeah.
you just say the normal things, maybe,
Yeah.
but not
Yeah.
poetic stuff.
Yeah.
You never can trust it. So
Well, even because for me, the lines that I'm really happy with, that are really meaningful to me, are this image of being the stepping stone in the river, or stepping stone in the creek, and then from that I say, put your weight on me, as
Yeah.
the stepping. Put your weight on me. Feel my solidity. Let your dreams become reality.
Yeah.
But you didn't quite go as simple, because your lines, instead of just put your weight on me, it was like, leave your body in my arms. And then it wasn't just feel my solidity, it was feel the firmness of my body. And
Exactly.
then instead of let your dreams become reality, let the nightmares live in the light of day. Now,
Yeah.
personally, I love that. That sounds so gorgeous.
is that do
yeah.
I think for my knowledge, when I was translating it in Farsi, if
Yeah.
I was going to translate the exactly same thing you said,
Yeah.
dreams became reality.
Yeah.
It was so
It's
obvious
too basic or something.
and basic in
Yeah.
Farsi, which is
Yeah.
not obvious.
And
in
I mean,
English.
even in English, it is a really basic line, but for me, it captures such a truth. So I was really happy with it.
Yeah, I
So-
wasn't really like, I'm like, I tried to do it in another way, but it's good we just talk about that, because you
Yeah.
are a
Yeah.
you are a person, you are a poet of this poem. So
Yeah, but it's fascinating for me to see, what you've had to do to bring it into the other,
yeah,
this other language.
Yeah, that's right. Oh,
All right, so there we go.
Cool.
So
Great.
that was What Happened in the Forest by me. And what's the title again in Farsi?
Jangal in Farsi means forest,
Mm-hmm.
and در جنگل چه بر من و تو گذشت.
So
Yeah.
is that like jungle? Like,
Jungle.
So
yeah,
very
it's
similar.
Exactly
Oh,
jungle.
really?
So
Oh,
we
really?
say Jangal. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Wow, fascinating. All right. Well, okay. So that is poem 1 done in English and Farsi. Now we've got this. It's a bit more of an epic, this poem. And so what we thought we'd do, instead of Ramak doing the full Farsi version and then me doing the full English version, we thought we'd do it stanza by stanza. So and there's probably about I think maybe about 10 or 12 stanzas
Yeah,
that
because
we'll go
it's
through.
as I said, it's a long poem, and we try to just I just share a few. What do you call it in English, actually?
Oh, stanzas? No.
Stanzas.
It's stanzas, yeah, which is
Yeah.
there's the poetic word for paragraph.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, I think I told you this story before about the word in English for for one little paragraph of poetry is stanza, but stanza is actually from the Italian, and stanza means room, and I love that a poem actually is like a home or a house, and it consists of a whole lot of rooms,
Yeah.
and all the rooms add up to a home. Or if it's a lot of rooms, it's a mansion. And I just love that image of what a poem is. Actually, it's this compilation of rooms that make a place to live or a place to experience something. So yeah, and I know you totally love this poem. And
Oh yeah, definitely this is one of my favorite poems. And
yeah,
just it's so inspiring, and because I'm a visual artist, I really inspire with poems and poetry, and
Yeah.
so this is one of my favorite one, and I'm gonna say it in Farsi. شعر تولدی دیگه از فروغ فرخزاده که خب ما ایرانی‌ها خوب میشناسیم هممون تقریبا، و یه شعر نسبتا طولانی هستش که الان به اشتراک میذاریم، من میخونم فارسی و کامرون به انگلیسی ترجمهش رو میخونه. خوش بگذره بهت.
okay,
Yeah.
let's do it. Or
But-
maybe, actually, sorry, maybe
Yeah.
we just should say the translator before I forget, because I
That's
forgot
right.
the translator
Yeah, you're
last
right.
week.
Karim Emami.
Karim Emami.
امامی. بله.
So,
اوکی. تولدی دیگر. همه هستی من آیه تاریکی است که تو را در خود تکرار کنان به سحرگاه رستنها و شکفتنهای ابدی خواهد برد. من در این آیه تو را آه کشیدم. آه. من در این آیه تو را به درخت و آب و آتش پیوند زدم.
my whole being is a dark chant, which will carry you, perpetuating you, to the dawn of eternal growths and blossoming. In this chant, I sighed. You sighed. In this chant, I grafted you to the tree, to the water, to the fire.
زندگی شاید یک خیابان دراز است که هر روز زنی با زنبیلی از آن می‌گذرد.
Life is, perhaps, a long street through which a woman holding a basket passes every day.
زندگی شاید ریسمانی است که مردی با آن خود را از شاخی می‌آویزد. زندگی شاید طفلی است که از مدرسه برمیگردد.
Life is, perhaps, a rope which a man hangs himself from a branch. Life is, perhaps, a child returning home from school.
زندگی شاید افروختن سیگاری باشد در فاصله رغبتناک دو هماغوشی، یا نگاه گیج رهگذری باشد که کلاه از سر بر می‌دارد و به یک رهگذر دیگر با لبخندی بی‌معنی می‌گوید صبح بخیر.
Life is, perhaps, lighting up a cigarette in the narcotic repose between two love-makings, or the absent gaze of a passerby who takes off his hat to another passerby with a meaningless smile and a good morning.
زندگی شاید آن لحظه مسدودی است که نگاه من در نینی چشمان تو خود را ویران می‌سازد و در این حسی است که من آن را با ادراک ماه و با دریافت ظلمت خواهم آمیخت.
Life is, perhaps, that enclosed moment when my gaze destroys itself in the pupil of your eyes. And it is in the feeling which I put into the moon's impression and the night's perception.
در اتاقی که به اندازه یک تنهایی است دل من، که به اندازه یک عشق است به زوال زیبای گلها در گلدان می‌نگرد، به نهالی که تو در باغچه خانه‌مان کاشته‌ای و به آواز قناری‌ها که به اندازه یک پنجره می‌خوانند.
In a room as big as loneliness, my heart, which is as big as love, looks at the simple pretext of its happiness. at the beautiful decay of flowers in the vase, at the sapling you planted in our garden, and the song of canaries which sing to the size of a window.
سهم من این است. سهم من این است. سهم من آسمانی است که آویختن پرده آن را از من میگیرد. سهم من پایین رفتن از یک پله متروک است و به چیزی در پوسیدگی و غربت واصل گشتن. سهم من گردش حزن‌آلود در باغ خاطره هاست و در اندوه صدایی جان دادن که به من میگوید دستهایت را دوست می‌دارم.
This is my lot. This is my lot. My lot is a sky which is taken away at the drop of a curtain. My lot is going down a flight of disused stairs and joining with something in decay and nostalgia. My lot is a sad promenade in the garden of memories and dying in the grief of a voice which tells me, I love your hands.
دستهایم را در باغچه می‌کارم. سبز خواهم شد. میدانم و پرستوها در گودی انگشتان جوهریم تخم خواهند گذاشت.
I plant my hands in the garden. I will grow, I know. And swallows will lay eggs in the hollow of my ink-stained hands.
گوشواری به دو گوشم می‌آویزم از دو گیلاس سرخ همزاد و به ناخن‌هایم برگ گل کوکب می‌چسبانم. کوچه‌ای هست که در آنجا پسرانی که به من عاشق بودند هنوز با همان موهای درهم و گردن‌های باریک و پاهای لاغر به تبسم‌های معصوم دخترکی می‌اندیشند که یک شب او را باد با خود برد.
I shall wear a pair of twin cherries as earrings, and I shall put dahlia petals on my fingernails. There is an alley where the boys who were in love with me still loiter, with the same unkempt hair, thin necks and bony legs. And think of the innocent smiles of a little girl who was blown away by the wind one night.
کوچه‌ای هست که قلب من آن را از محل کودکیم دزدیده است.
There is an alley which my heart has stolen from the streets of my childhood.
سفر حجمی در خط زمان و به حجمی خط خشک زبان را آبستن کردن. حجمی از تصویری آگاه که ز میهمانی یک آینه برمیگردد و بدین سان است که کسی میمیرد و کسی میماند. هیچ صیادی در جوی حقیری که به گودالی میریزد مرواریدی صید نخواهد کرد.
The journey of a form along the line of time, inseminating the line of time with the form, a form conscious of an image coming back from a feast in a mirror. And it is in this way that someone dies and someone lives on. No fisherman shall ever find a pearl in a small brook which empties into a pool.
من پری کوچک غمگینی را میشناسم که در اقیانوسی مسکن دارد و دلش را در یک نیلبک کوچک مینوازد آرام آرام. پری کوچک غمگینی که شب از یک بوسه میمیرد و سحرگاه از یک بوسه به دنیا خواهد آمد.
I know a sad little fairy who lives in an ocean and ever so softly plays her heart into a magic flute. A sad little fairy who dies with one kiss each night and is reborn with one kiss each dawn. The
amazing.
end.
This is amazing. Yeah.
So
Thank
it
you,
is
guys.
absolutely Because I've only been introduced to this poem really this week, and so tell me why do you like it so much? What resonates with you?
Definitely the femininity in Forough's poem, and I really inspire with her poems in my photography. And
Yeah, right.
and when you think this person like a couple of
So when was this written? Like in the it's
it's
like 50s or something?
something like that. I think she was born in 1933,
Okay.
and
So could be 50s or 60s or something.
so it's like unbelievable. This person was okay. So the femininity in her poems,
Yeah.
and the way she's sharing a story, and for me, I without like reading go through all of those like explanation about her
Yeah.
poetry and
Yeah.
poems.
Yeah.
For me as an audience is interesting because for me, Forough in her journey in her life always was looking for love, and which is she couldn't find the true love in her life. So the first one, she divorced, and the second one wasn't successful, and her
And she also
passion-
died young as well, didn't she?
she young when
Wow.
she was 30 something,
Yeah.
and she, in the car crash. So
Wow.
and so her passion for finding love, her passion for life and
Yeah.
love, it's always like really fascinating and interesting.
But I mean, this is a really existential poem. It's asking the big questions. What is life? What is life for? What is life about? Like, I mean, it's not just a little poem in that way.
That's
no,
right.
it's a big poem.
It's a big poem. And and I should say I'm sorry, guys, but saying in Farsi because the Farsi audience realized that in one part I can't remember which was that. Which one was? Yeah, I think I didn't read it فارسی و انگلیسی قاطی میشه زمانی. فکر میکنم یه قسمتی از شعر رو من درست نخوندم و بابت این معذرت خواهی میکنم. به هر حال زبون و اشتباه میشم. Yep.
Yeah. Well, can I just say, like, there is so many. When I read the whole poem, I'm like, I didn't. Like, I feel like I didn't know what it meant in a really direct sense, but it gave me so many feelings. It was like this big waterfall of feelings that came over me, like these incredible images that just opened up little worlds to me. So I didn't, like, it's funny, I don't know what, even in a really broad sense, exactly what the poem's about, but yet it gave me such gorgeous moments through it. So that's, as an outsider coming to it, that was my experience. And because some of those lines, like, I was like, oh man, I'm just super jealous. Because they're just gorgeous. They're just so gorgeous. Or even, there's so many beautiful lines, but even like, in a room as big as loneliness, my heart, which is big as love, looks at these, really what makes me happy. And I just love that. It's so beautiful.
The poem starts with when she's saying that my whole being is a dark
chant.
Well,
because which is also like a dark verse, like a
so
poem.
she started the poem with darkness, and I think in this poem she's trying to get out of that darkness.
Okay.
And when she's saying that about the fisherman, because when you are doing fishing in a small pond, probably you cannot get anything.
Yeah,
you have to go further. You have to go to the ocean. You need to have a bigger pond, bigger space to catch something valuable and interesting.
Yeah. So can I just say, the other bits I just super loved was there is an alley where the boys who were in love with me still loiter, with the same unkempt hair, thin necks and bony legs. For me, it's just like, oh man, I so see that. And I love the way she talks about that. And then that next line, there is an alley which my heart has stolen from the streets of my childhood.
Yeah.
And for me, it's like, whoa, that is just... I don't know. It makes me feel. It makes me see. I love that.
Yeah, she's so incredibly a storyteller in such a beautiful and poetic way.
Yeah.
So
yeah. So yeah, like, and I mean, there's bits that I go, oh wow, I'm not really sure what that means. But in some ways, these days, like, I don't mind if I don't exactly understand. And sometimes, like, if you try to dissect a poem too much, I mean, they often say this about literature as well. Like, if you dissect a poem too much, you kill it. Like, if you're always trying to go, what does this actually mean?
Yeah.
Sometimes that's beside the point. It's actually, well, what is this making me feel, and what is this making me see? And I can see that as a writer, she knows what she's doing. You know, she's so good with images. And,
and I think, you know, if like it's so easy to just Google her name and
Right.
go and read the articles and stuff about her.
Okay, yeah.
And personally, I'm not an expert person. I'm just a poem lover.
Yeah.
And I try to have fun with you and Cameron and just in these weird days. And and share the stories and poems and just, you know, learn about the culture, I think, as well. Just share the culture, share the stories and stuff. So I hope you enjoy it.
Yeah, and I maybe sort of to sum up too, like the thing I found, even just coming to know Ramak and reading more Persian poetry, just like, man, you know, just the communality of the human experience. There are some different cultural overlays, there's different ways of seeing the world, but really, man, we are just humans, you know, and we have so many universal concerns, and so many of them are to do with the heart and purpose. And I feel like that's what poetry can address, the heart and purpose, you know. And see
what like language does with the original poem when I translate it in Farsi or the you know, a Farsi poem translated in English, like how the culture even influence on translation, because I think sometimes we have different words because of our cultures and you know how we can picture that thing, that culture in the poem and translate it with words, using the words to just picture it it's so fascinating, it's so interesting at the same time. Why it's so challenging translating the poem. So that's it.
Wow. Well, that's pretty much our evening for tonight, and so thank you for tuning in, and if you're listening on the podcast, hello there wherever you are. And we'll say good night. So, how about I'm the poet.
And I'm a Persian.
And we are the Persian